Hey everyone. Yeah, the reason I'm doing it like this is because, it's about 12:45, so I don't know when my mom's going to be home. And if she does come home, I can just stop and then just redo it later. But she usually likes to stop by my older sister's just to say hi and check up on things and stuff. But because, of course, my second oldest nephew is going to be entering high school tomorrow for the first time. My great nephew is, I think, going into what is he? He's 10, so I think it's the 4th or the 5th grade. I think it's the 5th. I think it's the 5th. Yeah, possibly. Can't really recall too many grades. No, actually, it's the 4th, I think, because my other nephew is going into the 5th. So yeah, it's the 4th grade for him. And then my youngest nephew is going into the 4th grade. And like I said, my my youngest nephew is going into the 5th grade. My great nephew is going into the 4th grade. So yeah, that's what's going on there. So she might just stop by to see how things are, talk with them, pray with them before they get ready to go off and start school. And then next week, my mom starts school, and that is specifically good for me in a sense because what I did, and I guess it kind of works out. I kind of requested the 20th and the 21st off because this way I can have 2 days to myself, be able to do some vids if I want to and everything. Which now means I'm going to, but also what this means is after next week I got a new schedule starting, which will have me off on the weekends, which will make things a little bit more tricky, but not too much. Especially if I can do videos late on Friday night and Saturday and all that. And then ironically, I'm supposed to be working on Friday, so I don't know if they gave me Fridays off because I asked for them and I didn't. But yeah, they gave me my sister's birthday off on the 31st, so I guess that kind of works out in the end. But that's not what I'm here to really talk about. I know it's about 3 minutes I was talking about that. But what I want to talk about basically, of course, this is an MLP discussion, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic discussion. And I want to talk about a little bit of some of the episodes that have so far come out here in the second half of season 8. I know that we got a sneak peek of one of the episodes during the July summer surprise month on Discovery Family with Yakity-Sax. And not many people were thrilled with that. In fact, they didn't like basically the main theme for some of these episodes in the second half has been basically it's basically been that the main writer of the episode doesn't know what they're doing. They don't seem to understand what's going on or what's the purpose. They don't know. Like either they didn't study up on the character or something's just a little off. Well, anyway, Yakity-Sax didn't really sit well with people because they felt that was a betrayal of Pinky's character. Like, this is not how Pinky would react, It's not hurt something. Like, this is not how, Pinky would react if she couldn't, play a certain instrument. It's like, it wouldn't be the end of her world. Some could say, well, you may not. Now, some might argue, well, you don't really see the details. Like, Pinky has a closeness, obviously, with the Yaks. She's like the ambassador of them, in a sense. So, for her to have this instrument that I guess you could say was gifted to her, or just, given to her, or something. For her friends to come out and say, hey, it's not the best idea that you play this. It's like At first, Pinky being Pinky, be like, oh, okay, fine, no problem. But it's like there's that special connection, and I think that's the message they were trying to convey. And the message overall they were trying to convey was, don't, I guess, don't judge somebody. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was basically a message of I think the overall message was, if somebody likes doing something like playing a certain instrument and it makes them happy, let them play it. And if it makes them happy, but it's kind of annoying to you, ask them politely to go practice someplace where they wouldn't make a disturbance or some. It's kind of a confusing message, according to a lot of fans. Then we get to Matter of Principles. This was one of the episodes that was met with more positive than negative. I mean, a lot of people like the concept, like the fact that we got another Starlight Glimmer centered episode somewhat. They liked the idea, they liked the premise, the overall premise at times, but there were some detractors. One of the detractors was, why would Nicole Dubach, who wrote the episode, write Discord the way she did? Or why would she, for that one scene in the episode, give Starlight the power of a freaking Super Saiyan? I'm just saying. Of a Super Saiyan. Or Saiyan. Yeah, I think that's how it's called. Dragon Ball character. Why would she do all that? And again, it goes back to some people thinking Nicole Dubach didn't understand the progression of Discord, or, as I once pointed out in a video, I think I pointed this out, and I even probably typed it up, perhaps Nicole Dubach knows about Discord's development, but the way she probably sees Discord is, yeah, he could be redeemed, reformed, good guy, but I prefer if he still kept some of his antagonistic ways to go along with that. In other words, hybrid the old Discord with this Discord. Another thing that some fans point out is, the whole thing of, okay, you gave Starlight that moment where she was able to banish Discord with almost like a Super Saiyan like power. You over freaking powered her. But now Discord can manipulate or illusionize the map and the cutie marks. How is that possible? I mean, we know he's a god of chaos, but these are supposed to be elements that even he probably can't touch. You see, even though Matter of Principles was good, it still felt like something was off. And those were some of the things. And the other thing was, how could Discord, or not Discord, but how could the main six not know that? And basically the other question is, and I said this is, how did the main six figure out Discord was the one that did it? And also, why would Discord do that to the main six, specifically Fluttershy? And again, it goes back to my theory that Nicole Dubach probably does understand Discord's reformation and all that, but would rather hybrid a bit of the old Discord in with the new. In other words, you have a Discord that looks at Fluttershy as his closest friend, but is not above sending her on a wild goose chase just so he can accomplish what he wants to accomplish. And another thing fans point out is, why would he do it? Why would he do this? It's real simple. You see, character-wise, Discord probably knows that if he straight up went to Twilight and said, hey, I want to help you out with your school, Twilight Friendly would probably in a friendly way say, no, that's not going to happen. Or if she did say, oh yeah, you can help with the school, she'd probably put him in a janitorial role. Just the thought process there. But yeah, Matter of Principles was one of those episodes that was given more positive, but it still had some negative. Heartwarming Club was remarkably met positively, in a sense, because it was kind of even though it was a Christmas-themed episode in August, it basically was a bit of an origin episode, somewhat, for these characters and the races. Basically being an origin, like I said, basically it's like an origin story for these characters as well as their races on how they spend certain holidays, specifically heartwarming, Christmas, in their lands. So that was met with overall positive feedback, because it's like, okay, it was nice to see how each character celebrates the Christmas themed holiday differently and uniquely. Some literally taking some traditions more serious or more literal than they should. I'm surprised Oculus didn't say that one of them freaking turns into a tree and remains that way for a couple of days. Or turns into freaking pudding and people dive into it. Weird, I know, but I wouldn't put it past the writers to do something like that with Oculus's character. But what was unique about this is how when we explore each of the origins of how they celebrate, we find out a little bit more as to why they do it, but we also find out a little bit more about the characters, mostly Gallus, which we find out doesn't really have a family in Griffinstone. And you would think, well, wait a minute. You got Gabby and you got Gilda. Those could be his family. And Grandpa Grumps acts like a freaking family member to almost any family in Griffinstone. So you technically have family, but the way they conveyed it though for him was, where he lives, there is family, but like where he lives, there is family, but none for him. And that's kind of unique. Because everybody always says that there's parallels from the Young Six / Student Six and the Main Six, Main Seven. There's always like those parallels. So Gallus doesn't have family, doesn't have parents, but yet one of his teachers doesn't have parents either because of certain reasons. Kind of a connection there, right? Kind of great parallels. Then we get to Friendship University, which a lot of people have praised as being good, because it's a return to form for Twilight and Rarity. It basically does. And one thing though I want to mention before I get any further, one thing people have liked about some of these episodes is the callbacks to earlier seasons, even as far back as season 1. So, with Friendship University, people felt that was a great callback to earlier seasons, like season 4, like season 2, season 5 is a great callback. And basically the way that Rarity and Twilight were portrayed was true to form to the earlier incarnations. And again, that's what I get at as well. I think in one video that I mentioned was, I believe what's going on here is basically the writers, mostly like Nicole, Dubach, and several others, maybe trying to bring the characters back to what they once were previously in a characteristic way. I mean, you take a look at No Compete Clause and the rivalry with that friendly rivalry with the Applejack and Rainbow, and then Horseplay with Twilight's outburst. It's like, it's like, you wonder what's going on, and then it probably starts to dawn on you, oh, they're going back to how they originally were, somewhat, in the earlier seasons, because that's how fans enjoyed them. Just saying. But yeah, people really liked this episode because it put Star Swirl in a better light. Definitely showed his character progression and development. But it showed that, again, it goes back to that, I think, what was it, season 5 episode? Where, what was it, What About Discord or something like that? Where Discord basically was having fun with the rest of the main 6, and Twilight tried to act like she wasn't jealous, but then basically admitted that she was. So, yeah. We kind of see that she's a little bit jealous here, if you will. We find out she's a little bit jealous here, but she has a good reason to be jealous. Except all of a sudden, here comes this school that's similar to what she has, and is doing everything, basically the same activities and curriculums that she does at half the time, but it's like suddenly something just doesn't add up. And when we get the clue as to what that is, it's like, okay, the characters you brought in to be the antagonists, the Flim Flam brothers, are still staying true to form. It's like, basically Twilight's instincts were kind of mostly correct, but we also saw the fact that she doesn't like competition when it comes to teaching the same curriculum in the same field, which is friendship. And again, everybody, praised, Twilight and Rarity for being returned to true to form here. So, yeah, Friendship University got a good pass. And then we get the end in Friend, which, again, mostly got positive, but somewhat got some negative. It was positive because it was a Rainbow Dash Rarity episode, and we barely get those sometimes. And it was a story that worked because basically here you have two complete opposites that are friends that are now questioning, okay, why are we friends if we can't find something to do together? But the overall message is, hey, you don't have to like the same things to be friends. You can talk, you can share it, what you like, with your friend, even if they don't have to like it, and maybe they might give you advice of how you can improve or how you can do that and stuff. So, yeah. End in Friend was met with some mixed reactions, even though that aired earlier in Australia, and it's going to be airing this Saturday. End in Friend was given positive reviews overall. Basically, this second half of the season is kind of like with the first half, but it seems that the second half is gradually building itself into a more positive direction than a negative, which I think's good on their part. Some episodes, may not sit well with anybody, like the repeat of Yakity-Sax at the end of August. But it seems that the overall theme that I'm getting here is there's a more positive reaction to these episodes than the first half of season 8. And I don't know, and I could see where some people are thinking, well, it doesn't feel like the writers are caring one bit about what's going on. I don't think that's true. I think it's the fact that the writers want to go a certain direction, but they have to go another direction, or else they're not going to get the story off the ground. I'm just saying. So far, the second half of season 8 has seemed to be more of an improvement over the first half, according to what I've read and the reactions by a lot of folks. So with that said, I want to close out one thing. Currently, I am DVRing season 8, and like I said, I'm currently DVRing season 8, and by doing so, I take what I DVR and then I record it onto DVD either the next day or later on, so that I'll have the season on DVD. I've done that with the first half, I'm doing that with the second half. But for those that are worried about MLP leaving Netflix possibly on the 16th of this month, check, if you got Xfinity, if you got AT&T, check your on-demand, check whatever provider you have, check on-demand, and you should be able to find all 198 episodes, according to what they say, even though that's impossible. But you can find basically most of the seasons on demand right now, so you can binge watch them, maybe even record them onto DVD. So, but that's all I'm going to say, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Comment if you like, and I am out.